not a squid though. Weaver fish? Messy cart. Hello and welcome back to the beach. 2 rods out tonight. Conditions are looking pretty favourable. There's a big tide, a little bit of swell, not too big, but there's a dying sea, so that's always a bonus. The loads of colour in the water as well, so again that's always a big bonus. A couple of things tonight. I've got a new tip light. Seems it might be a little bit gimmicky. It's the green one. It's a smart tip light apparently, but I just couldn't resist giving it a try. But it flashes red when it senses movement. It's probably a little bit too sensitive for anywhere where there's any swell. Either way, even if it doesn't work, it's still got a bright light, which is always good. And also the blue tip light is a new rod, which is the Sonik SKS Black, the new version. I'm going to be giving that a bit of a run out tonight. I've used it a couple of times. First impressions on the previous 2 sessions are it's pretty good actually. I think they cost 130 quid. And sitting there alongside me 450 quid Anyfish Anywhere rod, it seems a little bit of an imbalance, but also seems quite a good comparison. Hopefully we'll get some fish on the shore and we can give them both a good run out. Oh, it's flashing. It's too sensitive. I mean, the swell is minute, so aye. Gimmicky. So I know what you might be thinking. Why are you comparing a rod to another rod that's nearly 4 times the value? Well, it got a bite. We'll come back to that. Well, we're both 14 foot, we both cast 7 ounces. The Anyfish Anywhere rod, which is one of the green tip, GBFS Pro, has got is only rung for, as the name says, FS for fixed spool, whereas this Sonik is rung for both. It'll take a fixed spool and a multiplier, so it's pretty versatile. They both weigh about the same. You would expect the cheaper rod to be really heavy, but yeah, it seems around a similar sort of weight as the Anyfish Anywhere. They both got good quality shrink wrap, and I must admit the reel seat on the Sonik is much better than the Fuji one that's on the GBFS Pro. The one on the GBFS Pro just twists around. I mean, I've had to use a wrench almost to tighten it up, and then some electrical tape, whereas that Sonik one is glued, you know, it's fully tight, doesn't move at all. So yeah, very similar specs. In terms of the end use, Sonik say that the black, this is the surf sport version, sorry, the sport. There's 3 versions. There's the bass 11-foot one, there's the beach, which is 13'6" and costs 3 to 6 ounces, and then this sport one costs 4 to 7, which is a good weight, especially when there's a sea running, or 4-6 ounces and a big bait, which it's got on now. It's meant to be for medium or light to mixed ground, which is exactly what it's on now. We've got boulders out there, so it's reasonably heavy in places, snaggy, but it's not kelpy. We're not going to be bullying fish through the kelp basically, which it probably could do. Like the GBFS Pro just eats fish up like that, really does well. But I think the Sonik could do that, but you'd probably have to put more effort in. God, the sea's miles away. My baits are probably almost on dry land, I would have said. Give these 5 more minutes. Bring in the smaller, or the Sonik rod first, the blue one, because that's got a much smaller bait on. It's had a bite as well, 1 rattle. So less bait for the crabs to get through. From the rocks. So on this Sonik rod, paired it up with the matching reel from Sonik called the SKS Surf 8000. I think it costs 25, no, I think I paid 35 quid for it. But I've loaded it with Daiwa J-Braid, 80 pounds, same as my other rod. Yeah, it's stripped. And the reason for that is I believe that your line is the only thing that connects you and the fish. So I don't like cheap line basically. It's not to say that cheap ones aren't that good, but just have more confidence in it, in a better quality line. Well, the tide's gone so far out so quickly, and it's not really had a bite, and the smaller baits, it's completely gone pretty much. So normally I'll only fish with 1 rod, and it's because I feel I miss bites while I'm baiting up or doing something while not looking at the rod, like talking to the camera is a prime example. I can't help that. Technically there's less chance of catching a fish because we've only got 1 bait in the water, but it means I do get to maximise the bites that I do get because my attention is solely on that 1 rod. But with 2 rods, just brought that one in. I was going to bait it up while the other one was out, but I'm going to have to move the stand forward anyway, so rather than missing a bite on this green rod, I'm just going to bring it in and then move everything forward, have another cast here. If I don't get anything here, then we're going to move further up the beach to where there's a bit of a hole and away from these rocks that I'm fishing in. The rocks are good, structure and cover and all that type of thing, but if there's no biting, then I'm just going to keep moving. Just give it a little bit longer. I've got a feeling I might get a bite. Don't know why. Just 2 minutes. Well, that's not going to help. Big bit of plastic on the bait. Hands don't half stink after using this stuff all night. Right, so hit my bait mate tool. On the Sonik rig, I've got 5/0 Sakuma Manta extras, 2 of them. And that's this rig that I'm baiting up now. The rigs are both identical as well. It's the setup on the rod, both Pennel Paternosters. If you're new to my channel, they're my favourite rigs by a long way. I don't like using pulleys because you lose bite sensitivity and there's not much need. So I got this Pennel Paternoster, put the head straight through. There's one. And on the rig I'm using for the Anyfish Anywhere, or the green rod with the gimmicky tip light, I've got a 6/0 Viking Mustard Uptide and Surf. Sorry, a Mustard Viking Uptide and Surf. This is why the gelatinous carts are good stuff. Still got a bit of cart up there. And then for the Pennel hook, not sure why, but I went with a 3/0 circle hook. There we go, 2 baits, ready to rock. Which line's which? I use swivel attached to my main line. Then a lead clip attached to my rig, and then I've got crimp, bead, swivel, bead, crimp, and the swivel's a little 80-pound breakaway stainless steel swivel. Then for a bait clip, I use pretty much all the time Gemini splashdowns, solo splashdowns. Brilliant bait clips, and the reason why is you don't have to get your snood length the same length as your rig body. You can actually adjust it, so you can see my snood length here is much longer. I like to do that in calm conditions because the bait's just kind of planted on the deck. It gives the fish more confidence to pick it up and go with it, I think. And if it's rough, I'll shorten the snood length down. To avoid tangles. The only thing with a splashdown, if you do use them on a beach, just make sure they're running free, because if you get a little bit of sand in, sometimes it can jam the mechanism. Very, very rarely release mid-air. The water colour is lush. There's big rocks around here, so I don't want to go too far. I'll end up causing myself a mischief. I wanted to scent that first rod a bit further to the right, just so I could cover a bit more water, but Typically it's gone straight down, and for some reason that tip light's twisted round underneath. We'll get the second rod out and sort that tip light out. It's cast nicely, this rod, it's very forgiving. It seems to ping the bait out quite well as well. Doesn't, someone like me who can't cast very well, doesn't take much to load up, which is a bonus compared to the GBFS Pro. So we're going to fishing again, 3 or 4 minutes after it started, so I've lost a wee bit of fishing time, but hey ho. That tip light, the reason why I bought it, apart from it being really gimmicky, was that I really liked the way it clipped on. Wasn't sort of, you didn't have to tape it or whip it or anything onto the top of the rod, but even though it's got a little foam insert, it's just spun round, and that's only the second cast, so it's not ideal. Wouldn't be surprised if it goes flying off into the water at some point tonight. But anyway, at least you can see the rod tip, and yeah, two more baits out. Come on, the fish. It's a mint night. There's nobody else. Well, I think there's one person on the rocks. I've got pretty much the whole beach to myself. Probably because of the conditions. Could have done with some bigger swell, but I've caught fish here in atypical conditions before, so I'm not too fussed. Plus, it's nice to be out, despite the 30-mile-an-hour southerly wind. Is that a bite? Let's just get my box, and I saw it flash. Did I get a bite? I wasn't looking. Or did I get a bite on the other rod and that set this one off? Oh, I don't like this. Fish on the stomach. Is he changing putting the extra layer on? So, sorry for the audio, I've had to go to the GoPro here. On the right. The microphone is waders around my waist. Well, there we go. Through Slippy Limpets channel style. First rod on the floor. Come on. Wind noise, so that's 1 mil for the phone, so that's on the back. It's a classic channel style there. Busy changing my top, or putting an extra layer on anyway. Jacket over my rod, no microphone on. But good little bite on the Sonik there, on the blue rod. Really quite impressed with the bite detection. When you saw the size of that fish, it was about 35 centimeters or so, just on size. It was easy to detect on that rod. Obviously it brought it in absolutely fine, no problem at all with it. So yeah, 1-0 to the Sonik. So I'm going to finish getting dressed. Always happens, taking a leak, eating cake, drinking tea, smoking a tab if you smoke, whatever. Whenever you're not paying attention, you get a bite. I cast that Sonik almost to 45 degrees, so it came from further over the beach, away from the rocks that the green rod's cast into. So I think I'll get this baited up and then probably move 100 yards down the beach or so. Well, I still haven't baited up again. I've given this rod another 10 minutes, the green one, and it's had absolutely nothing, so just moved my box 100 yards up the beach. I'm going to wind this in and move to where my box is. It's 9:15 in low waters in about 15 minutes, so typically I've found on, well, a lot of the places I fish actually, beaches that I normally get a fish or two on slack water or right at the bottom of the tide, and then kind of through slack water, and then the bites seem to die off. I mean, it's not hard for the bites to die off tonight because I've had 2 and converted 1, which isn't a bad ratio so far, but could do with some more bites. So get this in and up the beach, 2 big baits on if I can, and then whack them out, fish slack, and see if we can get one of those bigger fish. There's one. Now, swapped over to a plain lead, and I think I mentioned in that previous video that I've been getting some casting pointers from another YouTuber, a YouTube channel called Full Circle Angling. It's a great channel's just started up. Go and check them out. David can whack a bait out for miles. I was hoping I would be getting some pendulum or airborne casting, but I wasn't good enough, so I've just started doing off the ground. So I've put that plain lead on to see if I can whack that one bait out as far as I can and just get a bit of practice in, really. Oh, ripped us in the face, thank you. Right, 2 more baits in the water, big uns, as you've seen. Water is like ankle deep for like 100 meters or so. When I did my casting with David, I did a benchmark cast first of all, and I got 84 meters. And then when I was casting off the ground, I managed to get to 136 or 135 metres. That is about 50 metres difference. Now I've just waded about 100 metres out. It is just emptying out this beach completely. I think the tide's too big for it. So I didn't bother casting off the ground. It's a long way of saying that. I just waded out and lobbed it out as far as I could. I reckon I'll probably not get much until the tide starts pushing. We'll get a bit more depth in the water. Because it literally, I got a little bit nervous wading that far out in the dark. Not being able to see a hole or a rock because the water's like chocolate. So yeah, leave those baits out a while. Hopefully the tide should start pushing soon. Hopefully we'll get a bit more water in, and then hopefully a fish or two. I'm going to stop saying hopefully, but I'm very hopeful. So let's see how these two casts go. It's been really slow. I've fished these baits all the way through slack water and not even a nibble. Might have a little bit of weed on there, but it's not too bad. I made myself a little pile of sand, sort of maybe 3 feet up from the water's edge, about 40 minutes ago or so. The tide's starting to push because it's now lapping up against my my little pile of sand. So what I'm going to do is wind these in and stick some more baits on and get them back out, ready for the getting chased back up the beach. I'm standing on a little bit of a bar here. Well, it's quite a steep bar, so it's going to take a wee while to fill up this area, but I think once it does, surely we're going to get another fish. But before I do that, I'm actually going to give 2 of these Sonik rods away, and I'm going to do a live stream and give them away live on my channel. So I'm going to give away the bass rod, which is a bait bass rod, not a lure rod, 11 foot odd, and casts 2 to 4 ounces like I said earlier. It's really nice, got really good action to it. And I'm also going to give away this rod and the reel to go with it, and the braid, basically how it is now, which is the Sonik SKS Black Sport. So yeah, if you're keen to get a hold of those, I'll let you know how to enter a little later on in this video. But before we do that, let's get these in and get some more fresh bait on. It's so sensitive. Right, let's bring this one in. This one in. Snag. Oh, it's got a bit of backbone, this rod. Not quite as much as the GBFS Pro, but still got a bit of power in there. Well, I bent out my bottom hook, the Manta Extra, so it's obviously got some sort of some grunt to it. Right, let's get baited up and get in amongst the fish. What's happened there? The slack line. Well, there we go. Another 2 baits in the water. It's 11:15, so we've been out. Got here about 7 o'clock. So yeah, 4 hours, 1 fish. Lovely night to be out. Just not quite as productive as I would have hoped, but still got to try out this rod, and it's so far it's the only rod that's caught a fish, so it's doing not too bad. Just had a flash of red on the gimmicky tip light. say it's gimmicky. It's probably pretty good in the right conditions. Maybe with one rod, so it doesn't distract you from the other one, but anyway, I'm going to move up to the beach a little bit, and oh, looking fishy, unless it's weedy, but I'm hoping it's fish. Oh, that was a good bite. Oh yes. Oh, come on. It's on the surface. Must be getting close now. Oh. Oh, you were a greedy cat. No, circle hook. There we go. Another fish, probably about 40 centimeters long. Really smashed that. Such shallow water. I thought it was a much bigger fish. I must admit the way you hit it, but I'm guessing they're just firing themselves around because it is that shallow. Let's get it back. Yes! Oh. Sorry, matey. Well, an old local guy told me the other day that on this particular spot you either catch on the ebb or you catch on the flood. Now obviously we've had one on the ebb, but it was so close to the low water that maybe the flood's going to be the time. Who knows? Feels good. So that's 1-1. One to the Anyfish Anywhere and one to the Sonik. Yes. Well, my video light has just flashed 3 times, so it's about to die, and this head torch is about to die, so rather than sticking another bait on, I'm just going to fish this single rod. So I don't really want to be down here without a light. Normally they'll last much longer than this. I don't know what the crack is, but yeah, hopefully these baits are we're in a similar place, and we can get another one. Must be more than one fish going around, surely. Oh. Torch is gone. Right then. Oh. The obligatory hat head. Right then, so the light died, obviously. So that was the end of it, really.
That's been a long time.
This head torch is about to go as well, so it is 10 past midnight, so it's probably a good time to call it a day, or a night, or an evening, whatever. Impressions of that rod are very good. I haven't used the other two, but if they're built with the same quality and characteristics as the Sport, then yeah, they're great rods for the money. So it's light, it's rung for, can I get my sentences together? It's rung for fixed spool and for multiplier. It's got plenty of power. It casts nicely, it's forgiving, it's easy to load up, especially for someone like me. And the bite detection is brilliant. It looks really good as well. I know that doesn't really make much difference, but it's black and white, so yeah, that can only be good, can't it? Really impressed with it. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh well, Nathan, you've been given that to use. Well, the guys at Sonik said use it and give us an honest review, and you know, to put it up against a rod that costs 3 to 4 times as much, then you're obviously pretty confident in it, and I was quite surprised by it. And I don't, you know, I like using the kit I like using. I don't often take freebies or anything like that. I just, you know, I like fishing with the kit that I've chosen and the kit that I decided to use. So and I would use that rod by itself if I didn't have the GBFS Pro. But as I mentioned on the beach, I'm going to give that rod that I've been using plus the reel and the braid away in a live stream, and the bass rod as well. I'm going to keep the shorter 13'6". I think this is the best rod. It suits pretty much everything that the majority of anglers will do for beach fishing, cod fishing. You know, it might not be grunty enough for pulling double figure cod out of the kelp, but let's be honest, how many of us actually pull double figure cod out of the kelp? So as I said on the beach, I'm going to give the bass rod away, and I'm going to give that SKS Black Sport away. The bass rod has never been used. I don't actually fish for bass for bait, but the Sport rod has been used. But that will come with the matching reel and also the Daiwa 80-pound braid. So the idea of the braid is I like to fish braid straight through without a shock leader, and it's strong enough to chuck a 7-ounce lead and a big bait on it, even if you're pendulum casting, which obviously I'm not. So if you'd like the bass rod, then leave a comment below saying Slippy, give me the bass. And if you want the Sport rod, leave a comment saying Slippy, give me the Sport. And you have to spell it correctly, so Slippy, SLIPPY space give me the Sport, because I'm going to use a random comment selector to give these away, and I'll be doing that on a live stream before Christmas, so you can get a Christmas present for free. If you want both rods, I'm sorry, even if you get chosen flukily, I'm not going to give the same person both rods. I think it's only fair to split them out. So leave a comment, like I say, and also keep an eye out for the live stream. You need to be on the live stream, and you need to be subscribed to leave a comment and join the live stream, else it's you'll not be chosen, basically. So I'll post a message to say when I'm gonna live stream. It'll be sometime before Christmas, so you can get yourselves a little bit of swag for Christmas. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment, and also if you're after one of these rods, the bass rod is Slippy, give me the bass, or Slippy, give me the Sport, and then we'll do a live stream and give them away. So thanks for watching. Until the next one, tight lines.